I truly believe that the challenges that come along our path, they're intended to help us grow stronger so that we can bring our light, not dim our light, but really bring our light as a gift to not only ourselves, because that's really important, that back to that self-care, but to those around us so that we can help each other grow.
Welcome to Zestful Aging, where I talk with fascinating, talented, and inspiring guests who reflect on the adventures and challenges of aging and who are living their lives with vibrance and purpose. I'm your host, Nicole Christina, psychotherapist, writer, and fellow Zestful Ager. I want to invite you to my brand new free webinar, Zestful Aging. Here's how you do it. You can sign up at NicoleChristina.com. And as always, I appreciate your feedback. Well, I have my Jack Russell Terrier Sparky right beside me and my coffee in my hand. So let's begin. Today we have Sandra Sabene, who is the owner of the Liverpool Arts Center in upstate New York. She's a businesswoman, artist, musician, and healer who focuses on expressive arts, rhythm, and meditation programs. Her TEDx talk is titled The Art of Letting Go. She facilitates several programs, including Healing Waters Sanctuary and Creative Rhythms, all with her husband by her side. Welcome to the show, Sandra.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is exciting to talk about my work with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm interested. When did you first know that this is the kind of work that you wanted to do?
I don't know if you ever really know, okay, this is it. It's something that unfolds, and I personally, I follow my heart as my compass. If it feels good, then I usually jump in with both feet.
Mm-hmm. You remember realizing, though, that you were talented in the arts as a young child?
I actually struggled quite a bit, which I believe is I bring that to teaching the arts and any expression that I'm offering, because I was that art student in the back of the room, struggling and afraid to ask the teacher for help, and so it never came naturally to me. So through that, I've really developed this teaching style that helps other people explore, because I know how hard it is to be that person that's not feeling as gifted, but I really have something to express. So, but really, since I was a young child, I have always felt this teacher inside of me. And I grew up in a business much like this. My mom owned the Artworks, which was also in Syracuse, New York. And for a long time, I was, just part of the art world, and the downtown show that's so wonderful to be a part of, and community and creativity in this area. And so since that period of my life, I've always known I would some way make it to where I am today, but it was kind of a crooked road along that way. I put my art down for many, many years until my husband passed away in January 2002. And I closed my first business, which was a state licensed child care center. Mm-hmm. And I literally just jumped in with both feet and said, I have to do this, after watching him struggle for so long with cancer, 18 months, and he died so young. He wasn't even 40 yet. And mm-hmm. So watching him just really give up on dreams, knowing that it wasn't going to happen, that was at the foundation of me saying, it's time. I'm not going to waste one more day.
Mm-hmm. That sentiment is echoed, through many of the interviews that I've done with other people who have been caretakers. How did that experience? You were a young woman. How did that kind of influence your work and your purpose currently?
Well, I was at 29 years old. I was a widow with two young boys, and so letting go of a business that was actually my bread and butter to open up an art gallery was quite terrifying. So how it really influenced me was I had to really trust my intuition and just explore and really connect with people in the arts. So I immediately threw myself into opening as a gallery through the generosity of a local businessman who allowed me to just explore what I wanted to do. And within a year, I was teaching because people were coming in and seeing these lovely artists for sale. I represented over 50 local artists, and it was a beautiful gallery, but people would come in off the street and say, "This is really beautiful. I want to learn how to do this." So within a year, I had students, and those students are still to this day coming to the studio as part of this extended family. So I believe that in that loss and that just the trauma of at such a young age, taking on more than I, looking back, more than I really anticipated. I think it pushed me to create a community and to be able to form something that allowed me to express myself in ways I never dreamed possible.
Mm-hmm. It was formative, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Do you want to talk a little bit about the art of letting go? I think that would be of great interest to our listeners.
Absolutely, that's it's really something that I just through the TED Talk that I gave just this year, the process of digging into that message and saying, what do I really want to say as I'm standing on that stage and I have this message? And so through that process, which anyone who's given a talk like that knows there's some self-preparation. And because it is, quite a relaxing conversation with an audience, but it's really about that message. And I said, what message? Really, it speaks to who I am and what I'm doing, and just on every level, as a mother, as a wife, as a business person and community leader, and really through the string that brings it all together is the art of letting go of who I thought I was becoming, of what I'm supposed to be doing, and I have those rabbit ears around what I'm supposed to be doing, mm-hmm. because I'm in the art world, so there's a lot of myth around you have to learn how to draw to be able to paint, you have to have this process down, or you have to be naturally talented, or you have to produce artwork in order to spend money or time on this endeavor, this classroom teaching environment. And it's really not true. It's really about letting go of the expectation of the outcome and letting go of the supposed tos and being present. And so in every facet of my life, through discovering my husband's terminal illness, through exploring the different holistic modalities that helped him actually live a very productive life for a year longer than doctors ever expected, and also to let go of who I thought I had to be as a mother, through these different phases, and be present with who I am right now. So being present is all about letting go of the outcome, and to do that in the arts is often very difficult because of that expectation of product and selling and marketing, and so I've actually found a way to create my business in much the same way, which is not the common way. Usually you have a 5-year, 10-year business plan and all of that, and I really just follow my heart and let go of how people think I should be doing things. And if it feels good, then I'm really present and I move forward with that.
This might be a really funny question, but many women I've spoken to talk about an inner voice or an intuition. And for those listeners who may not exactly be sure what that feels like to get an intuitive sign, can you describe in a little more detail how you experience that in your body or mind or spirit or soul, or however it comes to you?
Sure, absolutely. It's actually one of my favorite things to talk about as well, because I call myself an intuitive teacher. And I could just use that as sort of so people can identify a little bit. So how I run these art classes is not your basic academic class. I run them intuitively. So people don't come in and sit down and I teach everyone the same thing. It's an intuitive process of kind of feeling a sense of a person, an individual, and what their needs are. So in my way of experiencing intuition, it's connecting with my heart, how I feel, and if it's another person that I'm intuitively connecting with to either help them, teach, or inspire or pass along a message, it's tapping into a sense of how they feel. So, and that's often just listening to myself and to this other person. So, for instance, if someone's coming into an art class, I feel that they're nervous, they're scared, which will often come out as anger. And so intuitively I know this, and I will feel that in my own body. I'll feel a sense of anger or defensiveness sometimes, and know that it's this shared experience, which is what we're all doing on this planet, is we're part of a shared experience. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of honing in a process of understanding that if we take a breath and really tap into, am I feeling this? And what can I do with this before we take that action or say that next word? It's a way of checking in with, okay, I feel like I can be present with this, and how can I help this person? Mm-hmm. And after that, it's letting go of how I think I should react or things I think I should say, and tuning into the needs of the group around me. And how that feels very often is just emotion, just waves of emotion. And so, again, that goes to being present and connecting with my breath, which I teach all of these things as well, because it's helped me just kind of define how I want to present myself to a class, to a room, to my family even, and personal relationships. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes. I mean, I think you're talking about empathy, right? Yes. Trying to read what the other person needs, and maybe make some choices around that, rather than just having a curriculum and saying, today we're starting with, charcoal, and we're all going to do this model in this particular way.
Yes, it definitely involves quite a bit of empathy on many levels, but also I bring into that just that feel of energy. So sometimes it'll be tinklies, sometimes I'll actually feel like, just kind of a surge of energy through my body. So it's a combination of the two.
Mm-hmm. Is that a spiritual process, Sandra, or is it just a physical process?
I think it's a balance of both. I believe in the law of attraction. I would call that the closest thing to a spiritual practice that I have in place at a fundamental level, as far as my own values and how I make choices. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if it's kind of in between spiritual and energy. Just really, we're all energy. Mm-hmm. the chairs we sit on, the tables we sit at, the people that we're all based on energy. And so I believe that if we slow down and really tap into how we feel physically, spiritually, emotionally, energetically, that we can get a sense of things and make good choices according to things that we sense that are going on in the current moment. Not, next year or after Christmas or, after that next best thing happens. But right now we can make good choices.
Is that saying that there's information out there that we may not be able to articulate exactly in words, but is still important information?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, which requires us to really slow down and, find time to just sit still, whether it's meditation or creating art, or just taking that time with yourself and really engaging in regular self-care practices, so that you can be that quiet, empty vessel to allow things to flow through you, to be a part of you, and so you can decipher how you feel.
That's a beautiful image. Many of the women and people listening to us they're starting a new phase of life, perhaps. They may be saying goodbye to their kids who are going off to college or not, or they may be caretaking parents. They may be winding down their careers, but there's a lot of transition in this phase. And I'm wondering if you could speak to the art of letting go as you come upon maybe the end of one phase of your life and start asking questions about what you want the next phase to look at. What's a good use of the art of letting go?
Well, I've tried to simplify it as best I can. So it comes down to 3 steps that I use, and it's sort of become a mantra, because I definitely understand the challenges when we get to these points in our lives where we're redefining a lot of things that we just naturally identified ourselves with, like a job title, or being a mother, a grandmother, or just we don't often we get to these points where that was just what we did, and then they end, and
We're out of a job.
yeah, but we're still the same person, and there's that common thread throughout all of that. We bring to the table everything we've experienced, and I think we often forget that. So what I like to do is, and this is my process, I do this very frequently, and it's 3 steps. I create sacred space. And that's either, I could sit in my car and create sacred space in my car. And I take some time to really just tap into, how am I feeling? What's my inspiration? Like, what fires me up? Where is my focus going right now? And then I let go of what it should look like, what I should be doing, what I haven't done. That to-do list that it just generates that monkey mind bouncing around. And just that time that you take, and it can be 15 minutes, it can be 5 days. It really depends on what you're looking to do. It can be months if you'd like. And it's just part of this process that it allows you to unfold and be present with who you currently are, including everything that you've been through, and the values, and just take time with that. But the focus really is, what brings you inspiration, what motivates you, what brings you forward into this next best thing, this next idea, this next group or tribe that you're discovering for yourself or creating for yourself.
I love that idea of unfolding. It's such a beautiful image. Reminds me of a fern, in the spring, kind of unraveling like that. So you're talking about sort of like a type of a mindfulness practice, I think. And many of us know how important that is and how good that is for every aspect of our health. And yet, many of us forget to do it, or it goes by the wayside, or, something interrupts it. Do you have any advice about how to make sure that's part of your daily habit?
Oh, absolutely. So I am at heart and core a creative. So creatives are very well known for just high energy, impulsive, like go, go, go. So when my feet hit the floor, I'm usually off and running. So if I go lengths of time without that quietness or that self-care practice, I become very ungrounded, and I can, just really get caught up in that, constantly moving. So what I started actually about a year and a half ago, I became really a little militant in my own life about it. Because of some really big things that were going on in my life, I needed to feel grounded more often. So before I got up, I actually was laying in bed. I would not, even flip open the covers until I brought my hands to my heart and took some nice deep breaths in and really breathe with the whole body and really feel that shift. And I would lay there until I felt shifted in some way, either physically or a lot of times it happens in my mind. My mind feels much more clear. And then when I open the covers and my feet finally touch the floor, it's a mindful, more grounded sensation than when we just kind of jump out of bed, coffee's going, and you're off and running.
Check your phone, yep.
Yeah, and I think we're all really, guilty of that very, very often. But my whole day is shifted if I do that. If my feet hit the floor, I just can't help. I'm off and running. I've got things to do. So that's what I would recommend. Don't even get out of bed until you set something in motion that's going to keep you grounded.
That's a great advice. Will you tell me about your drumming practice?
Sure, absolutely. I'm very excited because this door opened up, and I've been speaking at conferences for recovery from addiction for about the past year and a half. My son's in recovery, really doing well, but he's in California, so in upstate New York, it's a challenge to find help for families and people that are looking for a good sober living community. So this is a way that I can bring to the table an opportunity to create community. So we just started a whole rebranding campaign, and the new name is Creative Rhythms, and they're programs for hire, and I'm so excited to say that we are being hired all the way out through more than next year is halfway filled up with the dates, and so many beautiful centers are excited about this program that we do. And basically, within minutes, we bring like 30 or more djembes, and these are big hand drums, and percussion instruments. We just did a group of 200 teens, and we bring them to a place where they may never have even held a percussion instrument before. Mm-hmm. And it's really about just get in there. Don't try to do something that you're supposed to do. Just bang on the drum. Just shake that shaker and see how it feels. And then what I facilitate is this kind of chaos. And then before you know it, this magic happens. See, as humans, we're really attuned to each other. The sense of belonging and creating space together is natural for us. Mm-hmm. So rhythm is the most natural. It's the first sound that we really relate to, the mother's heartbeat. Mm-hmm. So to bring that rhythm into a community with the purpose of connection, and within 5 minutes or so, there's this magic that happens where you start to feel this common rhythm, and then this heartbeat starts to build, and people start looking at each other and saying, "What's that? That sounds great." And then they start to move, and their bodies start to move together. It's just pure magic. And so we've been doing this in drum circle format for over 10 years locally. But we've really developed this beautiful program to expand communities and bring it into existing communities for that tool of connection. It's a very different feel than a mindfulness program because it's really creating chaos on purpose. So that it gives them a tool to manage the chaos in different ways.
And so this is healing for someone who's going through addiction in terms of helping them tolerate chaos? Or can you tell me a little bit more about how this is healing?
Sure, absolutely. So when we bring this into, for instance, a treatment center, we're actually teaching this as part, so that their team can integrate this into a treatment and then offer this to the sober living community so they can continue using these tools of connection and nonverbal communication in the sober living communities. So it's kind of bridging learning to express yourself in different ways to we teach them how to lead the circle. So it's paving your own way from there's some shame and blame and just a lot of different facets of walking the recovery path that can be very challenging once you've integrated the tools into the community or your family. And so what this does is give them safe space to express and explore different ways that they can feel the challenge and be able to bring it to a sense of self-empowerment, self-discovery, and ways that they feel comfortable interacting and engaging in the community. And hopefully the long-term goal is to really help them identify with ways they can personally make changes they feel comfortable with in their own recovery.
And I don't know too much about this, just to say that there's neurological benefits with drumming and music. Am I right about that?
Yes, there can be. Not everyone reacts the same, but in my experience, we have a few different ways of approaching it. If it's a calming focus for that particular event, we integrate breath work as well as it's a repetitive pattern. And yes, that's it's evidence-based. It's really proven to engage the physical body and that left, right, very predictable pattern. And it's something called entrainment that happens and engages that sense of belonging I was talking about.
I love the way you've taken your art and just brought it into new realms. It sounds like it's this creative process that keeps creating, more and more circles outward.
Yes, I call myself an expressive artist because that's really what I'm doing. I'm not a social worker. I'm not a therapist. But what I do well is I bring out that a very exciting ability to just let go and express how you feel. Because otherwise we bottle it up, we bring, and that just does no good for anyone. When we feel bottled up, it's just something's going to explode eventually. So when I started drumming, that's why I was really experiencing some heavy-duty stuff that I couldn't work through in talk therapy, and beating on a drum just helped me feel better. And that's also how the art of letting go. So on the TED Talk, I paint 7 foot by 7 foot canvas, and it's a spinning easel, and it's start to finish in less than 7 minutes. And so this way of expressing yourself and just exploding color and texture works the exact same. There's something in me, and I connect with the music and how I feel and the energy, and just it moves on the canvas. So it's all that common thread and just different ways that I use personally to unfold who I'm becoming.
Yeah, I mean, the way you're describing it, there's some parts of your history that were so very dark, and now you're at this point, and I know everything's not perfect and it's not rainbows and unicorns, but it sounds like you're really feeling deeply purposeful and deeply satisfied in where your life has come. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. I believe that we are given the life that we lead, and sometimes we feel like we've fallen into dark times, or things happen to us. But I truly believe that the challenges that come along our path, they're intended to help us grow stronger, so that we can bring our light, not dim our light, but really bring our light as a gift to not only ourselves, because that's really important, that back to that self-care, but to those around us so that we can help each other grow. So yeah. And I would say that I'm at a very joyful place in my life, and I have a lot of challenges that come up every day still, like everyone else does. And I think the difference between myself and many people that I know is I feel like I have some tools to handle this in ways that feel really good and purposeful, where there's been so much in my life I didn't have those tools. So, I have those regrets. I wish I hadn't said that. I wish I hadn't done that. I wish that had gone a little more perfectly. Everyone has that. Mm-hmm. But I feel much more purposeful in how I present my light to the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's this lovely balance between, you're saying the importance of taking care of yourself and making that a priority even before you get out of bed. And you're also giving so much of yourself to people who need that. Either they're people who are in recovery or people who are just coming to you to have a joyful experience in the Art Center.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, Sandra, to our listeners before we wrap up? Any other words of wisdom?
I would like to say probably the most heartfelt message to anyone who is considering any kind of creative modality. Don't wait. Don't put it on that back burner or think that, oh, that's for writers, that's for artists, that's for musicians. I could have done that when I was a child, and there's a lot you can fill in that blank. But I believe, and I've seen it for so many years, that we all are creative in some way. Just express whatever you feel. It's a birthright to express yourself. And I strongly recommend doing it in any way that you feel drawn to do it, and do it with all your might and get fired up and spread your light.
What a beautiful message for people who are entering their next phase with a lot of questions. What now? I'm no longer a mother of kids who need me to do homework and shuttle me around and that, and maybe rethinking their partnerships if they have them, their jobs. And that's just a really beautiful message. Don't wait. Thank you so much for sharing your light with us today, Sandra. It was lovely hearing how the transformation happened for you and how things are going.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share this inspiration. It was lovely to speak with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on Zestful Aging. If you like the podcast, please share with some of your friends. I love to hear from my listeners. Send me an email at NicoleChristina.com. And please consider becoming a patron of the show. You will get access to exclusive bonuses, and you will be part of the Zestful Aging community. Keep us going strong. Go to patreon.com/zestfulaging. See you next time for another episode of Zestful Aging.